Imagine the plight of a typical college-bound 18-year-old. On one hand, she is bombarded with stories and data that show college to be an increasingly poor return on investment. She's told, go to college. Spend 5 years there, and when you graduate, if you graduate, you'll be rewarded with terrible job opportunities and a horrific amount of student loan debt. On the other hand, we continue to talk about college as an irreplaceable golden opportunity. College graduates earn more, get employed more. They have incredible life experiences. So take on that debt, ignore the dire job forecasts, and push on, young explorer, even if you don't think college is right for you. While college is a must for some career paths, it's not the only way to make a good living and be successful. What if college is not right for you? Do you have real options to survive or even excel in the working world without a college degree? Education is important. It's almost a must, but vocational programs are being ignored at schools, all at a time when we have plumbers making $100,000 a year, says George C. Hess III, CEO of Advantage Homes Corporation. I have not studied this topic extensively, but it's something I have paid serious attention to, as I've seen many youth and young adults flounder because they don't have a desire to go to college, but they've not been exposed to virtually any other option after having graduated high school. Today I want to persuade you to take a careful consideration to attending a vocational or trade school in lieu of a traditional 4-year college by discussing 2 points. 1, the shortage of skilled laborers, and 2, the cost of trade school versus a 4-year college. Let's take a look at the shortage of skilled laborers in the United States. There is a major shortage of skilled laborers in this country. And what are the various types of laborers or occupations which do not require a college degree? Skilled laborers have specialized training or a learned skill set to perform the work. Skilled laborers in the manufacturing and construction fields include boilermaker, electrician, plumber, machinist, welder, and carpenter. Skilled workers outside of manufacturing and construction are pilots, dental assistants, automotive repair technicians, and even cosmetologists. Middle skilled workers include technical knowledge and a better than average understanding of the tools and machines they will operate, with also involving a high degree of problem-solving skills. Clearly, these are not dumb or lazy people. Why is there a shortage of skilled laborers? Part of the problem is budget cuts, which have left high schools cutting their shop of vocational departments. Since high school students are not being exposed to these trades, the current skilled labor force is getting increasingly older. With skilled workers getting older and fewer young people being trained to fill their shoes, we find a shortage in this area. On a particular construction site this past summer, of 22 construction workers, the youngest was 42 years old. Many of those 22 workers had been doing this for 30 years. Another reason is there is massive pressure for students to go to college and get a degree. It's drilled in their heads. College graduates are more financially successful. There's a social status in having a college education. Not to mention, being a skilled laborer has a social stigma as a lower class. However, there's an enormous amount of opportunities available to skilled workers in this country. Here are just a few of the statistics from various areas of business needing these skilled laborers. A survey of small business owners by U.S. Bank says 61% say they were experiencing extreme to moderate difficulty in finding quality skilled workers in order to expand their businesses. The Bureau of Labor Statistics Job Openings and Labor Turnover Survey show that nearly 200,000 construction and industry jobs are unfilled across the country at a boom time for home builders. That's a jump of 81% in only 2 years. Here are some statistics according to the National Skills Coalition about a group they call the Forgotten Middle. Middle skill level workers make up the largest part of the labor market in the United States. In 2015, 53% of all jobs were middle skill. Between 2014 and 2024, 48% of job openings will be middle skill. In 2015, there was a 10% gap between the middle skill jobs available and the percent of workers trained to fill those jobs. That was 53% were available and only 43% were trained. With so much demand for skilled laborers, we might ask ourselves why so many spend so much money on four-year institutions. Let's compare the cost of four-year institutions to trade or vocational schools. The College Board has reported the average cost of tuition and fees for the 2016-2017 school year. Remember, this is only 1 year of school. A private college, the price was $33,480. For state residents at a public college, the price was substantially less at $9,650. It costs an out-of-state student to attend a public college $24,930. But wait, that's not all. Additional costs include room and board, books and supplies, and personal and transportation expenses. Room and board ranged from $10,440 for a four-year public college to $11,890 at a private institution. Books and supplies were relatively the same at both public and private schools at approximately $1,240. Personal and transportation expenses ranged from $2,720 at a public school to $3,270 at a private school. Keep in mind, these figures do not include the increased cost of this education if it takes you longer than 4 years to get your degree, or if you have student loans in which you'll have to pay interest on. Now let's look at a trade school. Trade schools not only offer an education at a fraction of the cost of a four-year college, but also in half the time, with a job market that's tailor-made for them. The average price of a trade school education is $33,000, period. This is approximately a savings of $94,000 over a four-year college. In 2012, the average debt load for a graduating college student was $36,327, while the average debt load for a graduating trade school student was only $10,000. Trade school programs are typically 2 years, while the National Center for Education Statistics stated that only 36% of those who started a bachelor's program in 2001 graduated in those 4 years. In the construction sector of middle skill labor industry, 60% of contractors reported difficulty finding skilled workers in the third quarter of 2017. That's this year, due to an ongoing skilled labor shortage. That means jobs actually waiting for those who are willing to be trained. Unfortunately, Thomas J. Donahue, President and CEO of the U.S. Chamber, says, quote, "Finding skilled workers remains a challenge for this industry, and it's likely to remain a challenge. Our nation must address our workforce challenges to enable the economy to grow. There are likely to be pros and cons, no matter which educational path you choose. Not every student has to be college-bound. Let me be perfectly clear. There is nothing wrong with going to a four-year college. As a matter of fact, we need people to do just that. We still need our doctors, lawyers, accountants, etc. Nevertheless, there is also a need for people with specific skills which are acquired at trade and vocational schools. It is my hope that I've given each of you something to consider, whether for yourself, a spouse, a son, daughter, a friend. There's a major shortage of skilled laborers in this company, with jobs by the thousands waiting for people who know a skill or trade to fill them. In a relatively short amount of time and at a fraction of the cost of a four-year college, trade and vocational schools are prepared to teach the skills needed to fill those positions and offer a career to those who do not find college appealing. Speaking about a program started in a rural area of Peyton, Colorado, Tim Kistler, superintendent at Peyton, said, quote, "Instead of going into college debt, our students can exit this program with a skill and have talents that can help them pay for college." He goes on to say, quote, "My kids are really excited about this. It just gives them more options rather than the limited options they've been given in the past." Perhaps trade and vocational schools need a second look. or in today's society, a serious first look.